What's up, internet people? So we've got some interesting news and developments regarding Xbox Scarlett, Project Scarlett, which is of course the next gen Xbox console that was confirmed to be releasing in holiday 2020 at E3 this year. And these developments are interesting in that they're actually confirmations of reports that we've heard quite some months back, even dating back to earlier in around February this year actually. So there's some interesting stuff to discuss, and I thought, hell, let's chat about it, because in general, as someone who was an owner of an Xbox 360 but has switched to PlayStation this generation, this Xbox Scarlett console is intriguing me because while I don't see myself leaving the PlayStation ecosystem of consoles anytime soon, I am still intrigued by what Microsoft does, because everything they've been doing this gen with Game Pass and their experimentation into cloud gaming, which has gone a lot better than Google. You know, they've been making some real interesting moves over the last few years, so I've been really interested to see naturally where their vision of the next generation goes to compared to Sony. So we've got more ideas about that here today, and that is the fact that Xbox Scarlett, which was confirmed to be and talked about to be one powerful console at E3, it's now being reported by Jason Schreier over at Kotaku that Microsoft is working on a second edition, or SKU I suppose, of the Xbox Scarlett console, and not just manufacturing the one beast, huge, expensive, costly, powerful machine that they've talked about before, but also a cheaper alternative that will be diskless, much like the current Xbox One S model that exists right now, that is diskless as well and is cheaper as a result of not having that disk drive. So this cheaper alternative is reported to be called Project Lockhart. I'll leave a link to the full article, of course, as always, in the description below. Do check it out, because it goes a lot more into the very specific tech side of things. But the article does mention, along with it being cheaper, along with it, of course, having no disk drive, it does seem to be also less powerful overall. So essentially, it seems like a kind of similar situation that we're currently in now with this generation of hardware on the Xbox side, because as far as we're aware, there's no cheaper version of the PS5 that's going to be available anywhere near launch. So it does seem like we're going to be in a situation with Xbox Scarlett where you can get the beefier Pro version that's obviously a lot more powerful, or the cheaper version, much like exists now with Xbox One S and Xbox One S. So in that sense, I mean, this makes a lot of sense. It's a natural evolution, and simultaneously, like I mentioned, with Xbox already offering diskless hardware currently, it makes sense, of course, to build upon that as well and implement that kind of idea into the cheaper model. This Lockhart unit, what would it actually look like? What would it mean playing it? What would it be like to utilize it as a primary console? So obviously it would involve no discs. You wouldn't be able to go to the store anymore and purchase physical games. It would involve only downloading games from the Xbox Store, and of course with Project xCloud in beta now currently, and I assume it will be fully operational then at the launch of this console next year. That service will certainly play a big part, I presume, in the draw for this unit. And all of that has me super interested in Xbox Lockhart, Scarlett, whatever the hell this smaller, cheaper thing is. The idea of being able to get into the Xbox ecosystem, something I haven't done in quite some time, and to be able to do it at a cheaper price point, and to be able to stream my games, which is something that certainly intrigues me, combined with the fantastic value that already exists with Game Pass as a service, $10 a month, getting access to that vast library of games. I mean, it's all sounding super appealing to me. If this thing is hypothetically, you know, $200, $300 US compared to what I would assume Project Scarlett costing around $500 US, I would guess. If it's close to half price, and that might be me being a bit overzealous there, but if it is something like that, I think that's fantastic, and that would certainly get me, someone who's very much on board with Sony, it would very much make me open my mind and consider getting an Xbox console for the value of Game Pass, for trying out xCloud. But still, the key factors that remain in play as to whether or not I actually would find this appealing is the price of the thing, and just how good xCloud is, which remains to be seen. If it turns out xCloud is a fantastic service, and my internet can handle it well, if it turns out that the console's relatively cheap, and is priced in a way that it could be a really cool introduction point into the Xbox hardware game for me, I'd be super into it. There's no indication whether this thing will come at launch alongside the base Project Scarlett unit, If I were to guess, I would think that it would probably follow 9 to 12 months later, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if Microsoft would want to release Lockhart and Scarlett at the same time. Primarily because I think they'll both take away from each other in terms of marketing, in terms of consumer mindshare. I think it'd be great if they come out next November or whenever the hell it comes out in holiday, and they're completely 100% focused all in on the base model, on Project Scarlett, on how powerful it is, on how graphically intensive and impressive it is, and then later down the road they come out with Lockhart as the alternative. I think that would make a lot of sense, and it also gives xCloud as a service a bit more time to develop and iron out the issues with it to ensure that it's fully operational and working at least as smoothly as possible before Lockhart comes out. Anyway, I don't really talk about Xbox a lot, and I'm definitely not as knowledgeable about Xbox stuff as I am PlayStation stuff, but regardless, I thought this was some interesting news that definitely was appealing to me to discuss. So let me know what you guys think about all this Xbox Scarlett Project Lockhart stuff. Are you interested? Let me know in the comments below. If you're new to the channel and like my rambling, make sure to subscribe, that'd be great. I'll see you next time. This has been SirCazz. Farewell.